Let me assemble my menagerie of Tizamites yet again, that I might experiment and poke fun at them. Hello, Joanne. Everyone saw it. Saw what? Excuse me. You were pretty first, Joanne. You were first on my screen, so that's all that counts. You were as first as it gets. The only first that counts. There's an octopus? No! How's it going? It's going, man. Here for Flash Friday today. Chilling on the TJ Poach. Waiting for everybody else to assemble. Waiting for the event. Look at this. Look at that weird little thing on my eye. You see that thing? This thing right here. This little, like, flap of, like... Right there. See it? That weird thing. It's like a weird little flap of skin. My wisdom sacks. It's called a face. Damn. Maybe I should get an eye patch. Plastic surgery will fix it. So I watched this movie last night with Ashley called Bird Box. A bunch of people wanted me to watch this. Have you seen Bird Box? When it was, when it first came out, a bunch of people wanted me to watch it. So I finally watched it, and it was pretty good. I have one major critique of it though, and I don't know if I'm the only one that goes through this, but fuck, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Sandra Bullock, right? So Sandra Bullock is in this movie, and she does really well in it. I think everybody does really well in it, and it's a really well-made movie. But there's one thing about her performance, or really, I guess, not even really her performance, but her look, that bothers me. Yeah, it was basically a Silent Place, but with eyes. It was very similar. Like, it definitely gave me the same vibe as a Silent Place did. But anyway, that's notwithstanding. Like, look, movies are going to have similar thematic elements and stuff. It's her. She's had a lot of plastic surgery. And I don't know, like, maybe you can't, but I can instantly tell when somebody's had plastic surgery because they don't have that, like, it dials down the expressiveness of their face. Because so much of their principal face, like normal human elastic skin, has been fucked with, and it was so super noticeable in this movie. And it would be one thing, like if she was playing a character who you'd think, like, yeah, it makes sense that this character would have had a bunch of plastic surgery done, but she is not that, like that the character in this movie is not somebody that would have gotten plastic surgery. And so it ends up just being a person with a bunch of obvious plastic surgery and the reduced facial expressiveness and the elasticity that comes with that, playing a character that would never do that. Like, playing a character that would think it was silly or stupid to go and do plastic surgery, It bothered me. It bothered me a lot. So that was like it was a pretty glaring problem with the movie, in my opinion. At least it was for me, because pretty much every time that we got a good static shot of her face, I was just like, wow, this would look so much better if she hadn't had fucking 18 plastic surgeries and 12 eye lifts and 4 chin tucks and shit. Sandra Bullock is a good-looking woman, and she'd still be a good-looking woman if she allowed herself to age properly, but she didn't. I mean, whatever. She's not hideous or anything. Her plastic surgery doesn't look horrible. It just doesn't look like a normal human face. Her lips are clearly have been plumped or whatever. She said collagen. Just doesn't look right. you ever considered gastric bypass? One of my buddies did it and had pretty disappointing results. I've looked into it. I mean, pretty much every fat person that's been as fat as me for a long time has done the math. I'll tell you why I never did gastric bypass or never tried to go down that road. Because I dated a woman who had had it before, and she lost every bit of the weight that she wanted to lose, but in return, she was just like a fucking mess. She was malnourished all the time, constantly had ulcers and stomach problems, and it was all due to the fact that she didn't take care of herself the way she was supposed to. She didn't take all the vitamin supplements that she was supposed to. She didn't eat the types of food that she was supposed to eat. And it's like on one hand, yeah, she's not fat anymore, but on the other hand, like, fuck. What's with the buffer every 5 seconds? That's probably your shit internet, dude. If I had to take a stab at it, I would guess it would be your it's either your shit internet or mine. People are like, it's fine for me. It's doing it for me. All right. And nobody go anywhere. I'll be right back. Let me see. We'll see if that changes anything. We'll see if that changes anything. But outside of that, there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do about it. Buffer the Vampire Slayer. What kind of bitches do you like? What kind of bitches? I don't know. The ones with vaginas, I guess. Those are my favorite kinds of bitches. Do you agree with Elizabeth Warren that we should abolish the Electoral College? Yes. I don't agree with the couching of that stance as an Elizabeth Warren invention because there have been people like me saying we should abolish the fucking Electoral College for at least fucking 90 years. So it's definitely not a new idea, and allowing her to take ownership of it, I think, is a little silly, but I don't disagree with the sentiment. I thought you were gay bisexual now. Yeah, so what's your point? What is your point, sir? Do you have a point, sir? Can you make a point, sir? What is a gay bisexual? I don't know. Do you ever fear, Paul, that one day while you're outside doing an outside stream that a fan of yours will come out of those trees? No, I don't fear that. What was your number one priority when you were 20? Getting high, probably. Getting drunk. I mean, my priorities haven't really changed all that much. You had to hear a valid argument against abolishing the electoral college, because there isn't one. The only argument you get against the electoral college is this one, and it's a stupidest argument. So what you're saying is you want all the people that live in all the cities along the coasts to decide everything. And you can answer that question directly by just saying yes, or you can say, like, isn't that where most of the people live? Well, yeah. Then doesn't it make sense? But 15 farmers that live in the middle of Kansas should have the same political power as 150,000 people living in a big city. It's like, no, they shouldn't. Just because you live in an area of the country that nobody else wants to live in and there's only like 15 fucking people in your little town doesn't mean that we should like inflate your political clout to be the same as a giant city filled with people. TJ said this once, but that's what we have states' rights for. Exactly. 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 You got a good point.
I don't like them apples. You don't like them? I don't like them fucking apples. It's me, I'm Paul, I'm back. What's that? What's that? Yeet? Banned! You're banned from the channel. I'm Paul now. I will rule this chat with an iron fist. See some good questions. Oh, a bunch of fucking retards is normal in here. Disgusting retards. TJ fixed the buffering. I'll fucking ban your ass. Then you don't have to deal with the fucking buffering anymore, piece of shit. You're banned. Fuck you. What kind of other stupid bullshit you stupid fucks got to say to me, huh? TJ killed the stream. Fuck you! Piece of shit, banned! Can't stand you fucking retards anymore.
It's a pretty good impersonation, man. I like it. It's pretty dead on Paul.
It's a little angrier, I think.
Well, I mean, every impersonation is exaggerated. And I definitely have been that angry and piped up with these people before too. So
Yeah. I banned 3 people for the sake of my joke.
Oh, that's fine.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
If you didn't actually want those people banned.
No, it's okay. I'm sure.
But if it was necessary for my performance.
Well, of course it was. You guys got the business. TJ gave you the business. Look how bloated these buffoons are. Yeah, we're a couple of bloated buffoons, man. That is true.
Yeah. Came with a great fat fuck name.
What's that?
Schubert Schlubsley.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Be a good D&D character if you wanted to play a fatty.
Yeah, maybe that'll be my next one.
I'm Schubert Schlubsley.
We have to go to the dungeon, Schubert.
Let's stay here and eat.
Can't we just stay here? Have some more of this gravy? I'm Schubert Schlubsley. And let me tell you, I love gravy.
Some people make the mistake of thinking gravy only goes with certain things. That is not true. There is a gravy for every occasion.
Hashtag gravy is a beverage.
I guess I wouldn't have hashtags in the in the D&D world. When are you gonna eat frozen Crisco like ice cream? As soon as they release sweetened frozen Crisco. Crisco ain't sweet enough to be ice cream yet. They throw some sugar in that Crisco, I'm all up in it. I'm there. Gravy has always been a fat person thing, and I never really understood why.
Yeah, like skinny people don't eat gravy.
Right. Like, and well, not only that, but it's not the gravy that made us fat. You know what I mean? Like, it's like all the things we're pouring the gravy on. But for some reason, gravy is like a fat guy thing.
Yeah.
There used to be all kinds of fat jokes centered around gravy.
Yeah, like that gravy is a beverage thing.
Yeah.
remember that being like a Yo Mama joke back in the day. Yo Mama's so fat she think gravy a beverage.
Yeah, and then there was a Yo Mama so fat she fell down and broke her leg and gravy poured out.
Yep.
There was that one. Gravy is pure fat. No, it isn't. I mean, it's got a lot of fat, but it ain't pure fat. Gravy's got flour and all kinds of
Plus,
shit
it's
in it.
kind of like a mistake to think that fat makes you fat.
Right. We have a better understanding now that it's certain kinds of fat and too much of it, not necessarily just like
Trans
fat.
fats, saturated fats, calorically dense foods in general. But really, carbs are probably the biggest perpetrator of why Americans are so fat.
Yeah. God, man, yes, I've seen the stupid Michael Jackson documentary. No, I don't. I'm not willing to make a call as to whether or not he molested anyone or not. That answer it?
Endless speculation about meaningless bullshit. It's been dead for 50 fucking years, so who cares, you stupid fucking nitwits? We're gonna punish his corpse.
Yeah.
Bad corpse. Bad.
Well, his corpse isn't even around anymore because he was fucking. So they're gonna punish his fucking legacy. That's what they're gonna punish. Punish his legacy and punish anybody that might stumble upon his music and enjoy it.
Well, here's the problem with that. No one knows whether or not he molested any kids. We know for sure that he wrote Thriller, so...
That's true. That is a good point. That's a good perspective. I wish others shared your perspective and shaved their vaginas too.
Shave your perspective, vagina.
TJ should become female so he can be trans fat. You can't be trans fat as a man?
Yeah, what the fuck? How do you know I wasn't born female?
Yeah. How do you know he's not female right now?
Yeah, fuck you.
How do you know he didn't already transition and just not share it with the internet?
Yeah, maybe I just
A
don't
lot of
want that.
assumptions going on
Maybe
there.
I just don't want that unwarranted attention.
I like that ABC song, but he was probably sleeping with kids his own age back then. Oh, wow. I don't even really like...
Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
There's not even a punchline there. It's just like an edgy statement that's not even meant to be funny. It's just like... Your mama's so stupid, she went to take the 4 train and took the 2 train twice.
Wow. Good one.
Yeah, Yo Mama's so's, man, they were pretty bad, most of them. Like, Yo Mama's so fat, she sat on a rainbow and made Skittles.
Your mama's so cross-eyed, she dropped a dime and picked up 2 nickels.
Oh yeah, well, Yo Mama's so fat, she used a VCR for a beeper.
Man, those suck.
Yeah.
I'm glad those went away. I don't know many of them.
Yeah, the VCR for a beeper one is really, like, shows its age in a major way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because neither of those
technologies is even existent anymore, really. Wow, it just got real quiet. That's okay. We can share a moment of silence together, all of us. There's nothing wrong with that.
We know each other well enough now to
Yeah.
share a moment of comfortable silence.
That's how you know. It's really locked in. Major Pain remake starting The Rock. Oh.
All right, then. Is that something that is happening or something that you want to happen or what is that?
That movie, dude. Major Pain.
Major Pain is not that bad.
I'm gonna put my foot up your ass. I love it. I don't remember much about it, but I remember liking it. I remember thinking it was pretty funny when I was a kid.
It stands the test of time reasonably
It does?
well. It's not like a masterpiece, but it's still funny.
I am Major Pain, your senior drill instructor. That Paul fan art with Ashley looks amazing. No shit, dude. On my body type perfectly.
Yeah, nailed it.
It's a goddamn It's great. The super chat is full of trash.
Breed.
Yeah, you're right.
Cheese. Coconuts.
Bam Bam Bigelow, male gigolo. That's what I want to see. Bam Bam Bigelow, male gigolo. I'd get down with that remake. It hurts, don't it? Let me do something to take your mind off that pain. Snaps your finger. Ah, my finger. Yeah. Now you ain't so worried about that leg no more. What have you eaten today, Tubbies? I ain't eating shit. I don't speak for the rest, but I ain't eating a goddamn thing.
Honey Nut Cheerios. I don't know, something like that. Nothing too sugary. Oh, get some more yogurt too.
Yeah, what happened to Damon Wayans?
He was in the Lethal Weapon TV show for a while.
Yeah.
It was pretty successful, but he left the show because he's just like, I'm too old to fucking be doing this shit. I just don't want to.
He just doesn't want to do it
I
anymore.
don't want to deal. I don't want to fucking have this kind of production schedule. I got a family and shit. So
That's
he's
understandable.
He's kind of semi-retired at this point.
He was a funny dude. A good character actor.
I mean, him and Jim Carrey pretty much made In Living Color back
Oh
in the
yeah,
day.
they were a two-man duo carrying the fucking major weight of that show for sure. What will be your first declaration as Emperor of the Earth? I mean, any Emperor of the Earth's first declaration ought to be "My word is law," right? I mean, that kind of goes with the territory, but I want to make sure it's in writing. You know what I mean? Like it's out there for everybody. Do as I say, not as I do would probably be my second one. Because I don't want to have to like have a whole like part of my schedule every day centered towards beheading people who come at me like, well, Paul said you shouldn't do this, but Paul does this. Like that's, you need to know right off tops that those people are losing their heads. You know, I don't want anybody to lose their head unnecessarily because they just happen to be a hair-lipped asshole. So.
Who has time for that?
Not me. Not me at all.
Especially with a world to run.
Yeah. I mean, I got literally, I'm Atlas at this point. I got the weight of the world on my shoulders. It's like pointing out hypocrisy at this point is kind of passé, I think. I think like we've reached.
You can just assume that everyone's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And proceed from there.
Yeah, because it's just like what it tends to be is it's like this giant. It's like that bug zapper was with the mosquitoes back at that old house. You know, it just attracts everybody in the argument to it, and that becomes all you talk about. Like, yes, everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody holds positions that they themselves don't live up to. Everybody thinks differently about themselves than they do other people. Let's just assume that as a basic part of human nature and move forward from it. I mean, every once in a while, I guess it's useful to point out hypocrisy, but this like constant, like, I know TJ deals with this shit too, because he, you know, a modern philosopher or whatever you want to call him.
Yay.
You know,
Philosopher.
he throws out these fucking proclamations and shit, and you read it, and if you know TJ, you know he doesn't live up to this part of the proclamation or that part of the proclamation, or this proclamation that he made here might contradict the proclamation that he made 2 years ago.
I don't feel like I issue proclamations that often, but okay.
You do. Your Twitter's full of fucking proclamations.
I don't proclaim.
This is the way that reality is.
I've never said
This
that.
movie is objectively this.
Oh, yeah,
That
I
is
have done
this.
that one.
Yeah, no, of course. Like you do, like, whatever. You know, proclamations are proclamations, CJ. You got to own that too. Don't be a hypocrite.
But if you start from the basis of my word is law, then really nothing can be hypocrisy, because whatever you say at the
Well, that's the point. But people are stupid. They won't make that inference. That's why I had to add number 2. Do as I say, not as I do.
Makes sense. Gotta make it more explicit for the dum-dums.
Yep. I mean, number 3 should probably be about the same subject, too, if I really want to make sure it's driven home. Maybe number 3 should be, disagreeing with me is death.
Yeah.
Or something like, if I want your disagreement, I'll ask you for it. That would be a better one. Because I don't, like I wouldn't be so up my own imperial ass to know that, like, I wouldn't need counsel, or I wouldn't need to have some people around me that could speak truth to power if I was going to make some stupid fucking decision, you know?
Yeah.
I gotta have, like, a couple of close council members that have a limited ability to disagree with me.
Yeah, well, a good council member will be able to just, like, kind of lead you down
Right.
a different road of thought and make you think that it was all you.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's what I prefer, but, you know, there may be times where I'm like, no, god damn it, we're going to dump all the oil into the ocean, that they're like, all right.
All right, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, this is a dumb fucking idea. This is gonna kill the world. You don't want to do that. You're gonna have nothing to rule, you know? You need that sometimes. Because I like anybody else if given that, there's no man that if given that kind of power, we're not even talking about presidential power now. Presidential power becomes an absolute afterthought at this point. We're talking about, like, word is law power over the entire globe. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Abe fucking Lincoln. I don't care if you're, I don't care who you are. Put in that position, absolute power corrupts absolutely. You're going to eventually be lost in your own mind. You can't help but eventually believe that you're better than everybody else, because why else would you be there? Your decisions are the most consequential decisions, and there must be a reason for that. The brain is going to chew that up. And I just embrace it immediately because I already see it coming,
Yeah, why even fight?
Right. I know it's going to happen.
Yes, I am a living God, and everything that I say is true.
Exactly.
It's been perfect and all.
I'm the closest thing to a God that has ever been or will ever be. Everything that comes out of my mouth is brilliance. You wouldn't be there if you thought that. What?
That makes no sense.
Yeah. Somebody's ignorant of pretty much every emperor that ever ruled.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The downside is that you cannot edit, only discover. What? Abe Lincoln executed all those Indians. # no angel. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the point, right?
Right.
Like, you can go through history and try to find a president that's not responsible for some kind of heinous bullshit.
Right.
Maybe the ones that died after 3 weeks in office or some shit. That's about it.
I mean, and also, like, Lincoln, say what you want about what he did, was responsible for a massive expansion of executive power.
Yeah, he suspended the writ of habeas corpus.
Yep.
He was pretty draconian. He pretty much allowed no dissent.
Yep.
You could make the argument that it was.
He manipulated the political process behind the scenes, and he used his power in ways that the president at that time was not supposed to. And he did it unapologetically and almost immediately after taking office. So it's just like, this idea that men can have power over other men without being corrupted by it is silly. You see it at every level where you put somebody in charge of somebody else.
One of the first things Washington did when he took office was squash the Whiskey Rebellion. So.
You got a lighter?
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's like, we rebelled for our rights.
What was it? What's the?
Power, it's like, well, no, it's time to crush other people's rebellions against us.
What's the quote? I don't think this is the direct quote, but something like "power begs to be used," like power abhors a vacuum or whatever the fuck it is. Like power, like having that's when you have power, there is an impetus for you to use that power. Because the demonstration of that power is a large part of the perceived power that you have. So, you come to understand that when you've got a certain amount of power. And it works at every, and I'm not just talking about having the nukes. I'm talking about, like, being the shift manager at a McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are people who get that level of power over people and it goes to their heads in strange and interesting ways, you know? Everybody's probably worked for one of those people at some point. It's like,
I've been to DMVs and shit where people were obviously high on the power they had over, you know, just, I mean, it's such a meaningless position, but if you can, if you're standing between someone and their ability to get their driver's license, then you have some measure of power. That
Right.
can
and it's a
exploit.
measure of power you don't have when you're off duty. So you can't help but use it when you're there. This guy was an asshole. This guy looks like somebody who would be ideologically opposed to me. So you know what? He doesn't get his license today. Cops, a lot of the shit that we see coming like in the media when it comes to cops abusing their powers. I mean, what do you think is at the heart of a lot of that? A lot of that is just human psychology. I mean, and cops, like, cops are the most powerful people that we empower
Oh God, yeah.
by a long shot. Like,
At
Trump
least in
doesn't
terms-
have shit on a cop.
At least in terms of like what they can just go out and do.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Cops are empowered to kick down the door of your house,
Like
to
Trump.
shoot you right in the head.
Yeah. And
Like
face
Trump,
no
if
consequences.
Trump kicked down somebody's door and shot them in the head, you know, he probably wouldn't be president anymore.
Yeah, but you could order that to happen.
Well, I include government agents under the umbrella of cops.
Like
An FBI agent or a CIA agent or a state police agent or a state investigatory agent. Those are all cops in my book.
Yeah, law enforcers are given a wide latitude of ability to abuse their power.
Not only are they not equipped and let it go to their head, but knowing that, like, we're not the only people in the world that realize that cops have a lot of power. So knowing that you have that kind of power, that you're literally empowered to take a life if you want, if you decide that it's the right course of action, draws that kind of person to the job, necessarily. If you're a person that feels like, man, I don't want to be some fucking cubicle motherfucker. I want to be the guy that walks up and tells other motherfuckers how to feel and what to do. You're going to be somebody that wants to go be a cop, probably. If you're an American and you feel that way, that's probably what you're, or a soldier, maybe.
Yeah.
You know? Those types of jobs that involve enforcing will upon other people, sometimes violently, tend to draw a lot of violent sociopaths who want to abuse that power.
That's why whenever I deal with the cops, I'm just like, okay, obey everything you say. Gotcha.
Dude, even doing that doesn't fucking get you quarter sometimes. The one speeding ticket I ever got in my life, I was fucking 18. I got caught doing a 50 and a 45. The other cars, I was being passed by cars going on the road.
Usually you wouldn't even be pulled over for that. That's pretty crazy.
I get pulled over. The cop comes up to my window. He asked me for my license and registration. I say, yes, sir, as I'm leaning over to get it. And he accuses me of having attitude with him.
Yeah.
I said, yes, sir. And I went and I got it. And he was like, you want to take that attitude with me the whole time, boy? This ticket's going to get more expensive.
Yeah, you struck.
I was like,
you struck
I
the
wasn't
wrong
trying to
note.
take attitude with you, sir. Here's my stuff.
You just got that voice.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, it just sounded sarcastic, I guess.
Yeah. Which I can understand knowing you.
The other time I was pulled over when I was I've told you this before, maybe them too, but fuck it. It's part of the topic. I was pulled over in the back seat of my girlfriend's car in high school. And I had my seatbelt buckled through the loop of her purse or whatever. So when the cop asked her for her ID, she was looking for a purse, and I was like, oh, I got it here. And I tried to hand it to her, and it was buckled. So I reached down to unbuckle it, and that cop jerked his fucking gun on me. Knocked on the window with it and was like, put your fucking hands where I can see them. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was getting her bag. It's like, you don't fucking reach down there unless you tell me you're reaching down there. I was like, okay, officer.
Oh, Paul's already here. Oh,
I'm
shit.
reaching down there. I got it. I fucking unbuckled my seatbelt. I gave her her thing. He pulled her out of the car, took her around back of her car, and gave her a speech that I could hear because the windows were cracked, which was, I don't know what's going on in your life, but, you know, if you keep hanging around with guys like that, you're going to go nowhere. You're going to end up in prison.
I agree.
And I'm just like, what? I'm a straight A student.
No, you're a criminal. Nation for your gun.
That's just cops for you, though, man. It's just what cops do. Where does recording go from police body cameras? I don't know. That depends on the laws in the area, I guess. I can judge you because I have a death stick. Yep. I mean, it's not, hashtag not all cops or whatever. There are some cops that have a genuine desire to go do good in their communities or whatever, or that are very responsible, even-handed people that do their best to, save and help other citizens and see that as their role. You know, a lot of these cops have to protect and serve somewhere on their badge or on the sides of their cars. And there are cops out there that see that as their primary function. Protectors, public servants, people that are there to keep the peace and to enforce the law so that everybody can live together. They're, like I said, not all cops. But I don't think anybody would argue with me that there's a large preponderance of that other kind that make their way into the police force and the investigatory forces and the government agent forces. And so, I mean, that type of power is immense. You did two things wrong. Addressed him as sir and not officer, and then didn't announce your intentions. I was trying to be, whatever, man. I guess you're right, but I was a fucking teenage boy, and I was trying to be as respectful as possible. Sir is how I was told to address, people that were older than me in a different station than I was, To me, that was polite, and I don't think that comes off as inherently rude. Where does everybody keep their fucking registration at? This piece of highway hog doesn't pull people over and watch them pull the shit out of the glove box enough. So we have to not respectful. So we have to be respectful to not get shot. Yeah. You better be respectful or you're going to get the gun pulled out at you. You're going to get handcuffed. It's like they're not enforcers of whether or not people respect them. That's not what we empower them to do. That's not what our taxes pay them to do. I give a fuck less if some dude joins the police force and gets puffed up personally by it. That's not what I care about. That's not what I think the function of a police officer is. They're not out there to command respect from people. They're out there to enforce the law and serve the greater good and serve the public. I want to see police armed with RPGs. Aren't there already? There are probably like SWAT teams and shit that have shit like that. In fact, I know they do. They might not be rocket-propelled explosive grenades, but they use gas grenades and shit that are rocket-propelled to fire into the windows and shit? Pretty sure they do. Let's arm all police officers with nuclear missiles. Yeah. Give them all a nuke button. They're already militarized because of all the surplus from the Middle East invasion. Well, there's a lot of crossover, too. People that serve in the military, when they come back home, one of the most common jobs for them to fall into is some level of law enforcement. So you've got people that are trained to be killers, trained to be order-following killers who are ready to pull the trigger at a moment's notice, else people die, coming home with all of that I'm a fucking soulless killer training and going to patrol the streets of your neighborhood with a gun. Sleep tight. Maybe some people are like, they do sleep tight knowing they've got a bunch of fucking ex-soldiers out there with guns running around their neighborhood. That's the opposite of sleep tight to me. That's a sleepless night. Do you prefer there be no cops? What about what I'm talking about here says that I prefer that there would be no cop? I mean, that's a silly question to ask. No. I would prefer that there be standards placed on cops that preclude people like that from ever seeking the position in the first place. Like, I want the position of cop to stop being this position that relies on a combination of enforced respect and fear, and to start being looked at as public servants. And in order to get there, the only thing that you have to do to chase bad cops out of the profession and to keep people that would be bad cops from seeking the profession is to make it a position of ultimate accountability. And that involves filming every action that a cop does while he's on duty, while he is in pursuit of the duties that he's charged with. Everything he does is recorded 100%, even if he stops to take a leak in a restaurant on his way to a call or some shit. All of that shit is recorded and is part of the public record immediately. Available on request to anybody who wants to take a look at it. That's all. You do that, you implement that, and guess what? All of a sudden, if there's a national, policy, if there's no little dark spots where that, it's unevenly applied, if it's evenly applied that every fucking time I have an interaction with somebody else, with a citizen, with a civilian, that's recorded. Anything I do on the job is recorded. Anytime, when I'm on the clock, the first thing I do is, as I'm punching in, I'm also hitting start on my body cam. So even I want to see what they're talking about, inside the fucking police office, how they deal with their partner in the morning as they're getting donuts and getting ready to go out on the beat, every fucking second of it. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. If you do that, and there's a national policy, and it's a searchable thing, and any cop found to have tampered with his camera or not turned it on or turned it off, or done anything to tamper with the records, is immediately hit with a hefty fucking prison sentence, and they get to go be with the people that they used to lock up. That's all you got to do. You do that, you got a cop that actually fucking... Now who's going to search that type of job out? The people that are going to search that type of job out, the people that are going to get hired for that kind of job, are going to be people that are out there to be public servants, that see themselves as an arm of the law and not the law, period. Full stop. Do you think AI would make better police? Absolutely. I mean, the more dispassionate, the better. I mean, the deadliest thing for a cop to engage in is emotional interplay with the people that they're serving. So absolutely. Having a dispassionate enforcer of the law loaded with non-lethal ways of subduing a suspect should that suspect attempt violence on somebody else or on, the whatever AI enforcer. Abso-fucking-lutely, yes. We could have drone police. We will have drone police. I mean, we've seen in science fiction a look at humanity's future where police are aided, augmented, or utterly replaced by some sort of artificial intelligence, some sort of drone or robot. The one that comes to mind immediately is Minority Report, the use of those little spider robots that everybody knows what the drill is, The cops throw them out, they come to life, they crawl through the building, they go into your house. When you see one, you have to stay still because they scan your retina. I'm not saying it's going to be exactly like that, but those sorts of things are a taste of the future. As drones and these kinds of law enforcement tools, straight out robots, become more and more useful and commonplace, you're going to see less and less actual cops on the beat. Thank you for your cooperation. Negative. I am a meat popsicle. You could have human cyborgs with brain implants to force them to act adequately. Oh. Yeah, you could. Who would win, RoboCop or Judge Dredd? I don't know. That would be a battle for the fucking ages right there, man. Those two dudes would go at it for sure. You know, I think Judge Dredd probably has the better arsenal. RoboCop is obviously more resistant to damage, though. So, like I said, that's a good versus. You know, you got one dude that's way more mortal, way more susceptible to injury, I think, than the other, but has an arsenal that's way better. You know, because all RoboCop's got is that one little machine gun pistol, right? Got that, and he's got strength, obviously, if they get close. He's got that hot shot shit that he uses in the new movie, you know? The hot shot. He can go hot shot and just shoot a bunch of those slugs that like stick to RoboCop and then burn down into his armor. You know, that would fuck him up. Think about that. Burn all the way through that soft armor into all that cybernetic wiring and tissues and shit. Where's the morality in RoboCops? Where's Jesus? I think that's one of the benefits of a RoboCop, dude, is that it doesn't like, it's not fucking clutching its rosary before it kicks down the door of a drug dealer's house, you know? It doesn't have some weird misconception in its head that it's somehow a soldier for a non-existent fictional character. Like it knows what its directive is and it, you know, pushes that directive. Jesus cop. Yeah, that's what we need. We need a cop Jesus. Well, that's another cool thing, too. Somebody said they would like a little personal drone. You'll have it. Like, it won't be too long. I'd say, like, probably, you know, and I'm talking out of my ass here. It might be longer than this. But I'd say, like, 20 years from now, personal drones are going to be the new cell phone. Because they're going to be that. They're going to be a cell phone, a drone, something that lights your path at night if you're walking, something that alerts the authorities automatically if you're waylaid along the way. It's going to, you know, you'll be able to tell it to fly in different configurations. You know, you can have it come down closer when you need to use it. You can have it go up higher to where it's out of the way when you don't. It's going to be fucking amazing. Hey, Salvador, be nice to that kitty. There ain't no need. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end